Somewhere between Florida, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico lies a stretch of ocean that has swallowed planes, ships, and entire crews without a trace. Or at least, that's the legend. Compasses spinning, pilots lost in clear skies, messages cut off mid-sentence. For decades, people have called it one of the greatest unsolved mysteries on Earth. Today, we're diving deep into the story behind the legend, what really happened, what was exaggerated, and why the mystery refuses to die. If you enjoyed these mystery deep dives and myth-busting investigations, make sure you like the video. Subscribe to the channel and comment your theory below. Do you think it's all explainable? Or something stranger? Let's begin. The legend didn't start with ancient sailors or secret government files. It started with a newspaper article. In 1950, several American newspapers published a story highlighting a cluster of unexplained disappearances in the Western Atlantic. Boats gone, aircraft missing, no wreckage, no survivors, no clear answers. The region mentioned sat roughly between Florida and the island of Bermuda. 2 years later, a paranormal magazine took that loose area and drew hard borders around it. A triangle shaped connecting Florida, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico. No scientific reason, no navigational basis, just a shape that felt dramatic. A decade after that, a pulp magazine ran a sensational cover story about vanishings in what it called the Bermuda Triangle. The article added emotional dialogue, invented details, and frightening speculation. It was written for entertainment, but many readers took it as fact. Just like that, a legend was born. Supporters of the mystery often reach far back into history, even to Christopher Columbus's first Atlantic voyage. According to his logs, the crew saw a fiery object fall from the sky into the sea. Later, their compasses seemed to give strange readings. And one night, a distant flickering light appeared above the water. It sounds eerie until you unpack it. Fireball falling from the sky fits perfectly with the meteor. Compass variation happens naturally due to magnetic declination, something sailors today are trained to understand. And that mysterious light, Columbus himself believed it came from land. And just 2 hours later, land was sighted. Not supernatural, not triangular, just misunderstood observations. If one event truly fueled the legend, it was the disappearance of a training squadron known as Flight 19. 5 military planes took off on a routine navigation exercise. The weather worsened. Radio transmissions became confused. The lead instructor reported that his compasses were failing and that he believed they were flying over the Florida Keys. But they weren't. Radio logs later suggested he had mistaken the Bahamas for the Keys. A critical navigational error. Convinced his instruments were wrong, he ignored them instead of turning towards safety. The group flew farther out to sea. Fuel ran low, daylight faded. The ocean grew rough. Their final messages suggested they were preparing to ditch into the water together. A rescue aircraft launched to find them, and that plane exploded shortly after takeoff, likely due to a mechanical fault already noted the day before. No wreckage was ever found, but in deep ocean with strong currents, that is not unusual. The most likely explanation is tragic, but not mysterious. Disorientation, weather, and fuel exhaustion. Not every case has such detailed logs. 2 passenger aircraft, sister planes, disappeared a year apart while flying similar routes. Both had experienced crews. One encountered heavy winds and storms, and the other flew in clear weather and vanished after a routine radio checks in. Investigations found maintenance issues with the aircraft model, including heating systems known to cause fires if they malfunctioned. Experts later suggested onboard explosions were possible. With no debris recovered, certainty is impossible, but mechanical failure is far more consistent with aviation history than paranormal forces. One of the stranger stories involves a large sailing vessel found run aground with no crew aboard. Its logs were missing, lifeboats gone, equipment damaged, personal belongings left behind. A message in a bottle later claimed that the ship had been captured by another vessel, but handwriting analysis proved the message was a hoax. Investigators discovered the captain and the crew had been in serious conflict before departure. Threats had been made, arrests had occurred. Motive for mutiny existed. Another ship was reportedly seen following close behind with its name covered. Suspicious but never confirmed. Piracy, mutiny, criminal takeover, all plausible, none supernatural. Still, no crew was ever found, and that uncertainty keeps the story alive. Here's a critical question people rarely ask. If this region is uniquely dangerous, why isn't it marked on official nautical charts? Why do coast guards and aviation authorities allow thousands of flights and voyages through it every year without warning labels? Because statistically, it isn't more dangerous than other heavily traveled ocean regions. The area has extremely high traffic, frequent storms and hurricanes, powerful ocean currents, rapidly changing weather, deep water that hides wreckage wall. More traffic plus rough conditions equals more accidents. It's just math, not mystery. Another issue can be inconsistency. Some triangle disappearances happened well outside a triangle. Others occurred after vessels had already passed through it safely. Some incidents in entirely different seas have been retroactively added by enthusiasts. When boundaries stretch to include every unexplained loss nearby, the triangle stops being a defined place and becomes a storytelling device. If a mystery zone keeps expanding to include the evidence, it may not be a real zone at all. So if most cases have reasonable explanations, why does the legend survive? It's because humans love patterns, even when they're artificial. A cluster of unrelated tragedies feels more meaningful when grouped together, isn't it? Add a geometric shape, dramatic headlines, and unanswered questions, and you have a myth-making feel. Mysteries are emotionally satisfying. Random accidents aren't. A vanished ship is tragic. A vanished ship in a cursed triangle is unforgettable. A When ships and planes are lost at sea, they usually sink. Fast, deep, and far from where anyone expects. Currents scatter debris. Storms erase clue. Death hides wreckage for decades and decades, or even forever. No portents required. No alien beams, no supernatural fog. Just nature. Vast, violent, and indifferent. And that's the story behind the legend. How a handful of tragedies, a few sensational articles, and a lot of human imagination created in one of the world's most famous mysteries. So what do you think? Misunderstood coincidence or something we still don't fully grasp? Comment down below what you think. I read everything. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, kindly support us and like the video. Subscribe for more mysteries, investigations, and share this with someone who still believes the legend. Until next time, stay curious.